Sí, ya lo vi por ahí atrás.
Ahí te veo. Free, free, free Palestine!
Of the United Nations. That claims to stand for human rights, but sits idly by as tens of thousands of Palestinians are genocided, are massacred in cold blood, and votes for ceasefire in their homes mean absolutely nothing. Nothing to them. The only people actually trying to prevent the bombing of Gaza are the Yemeni people who are preventing Israeli boats. Who are blocking Israeli boats from going on their sovereign waters as long as medical aid and humanitarian aid is denied into Gaza. A call that the UN made, but is taking no steps to make a reality. Meanwhile, the only people trying to make it a reality are now being bombed by a coalition led by the United States of America and the United Kingdom. Both part of the permanent 5 members of the Security Council. So we know this institution is complicit in the genocide of thousands of Palestinian children and millions more who will continue to suffer the effects of this genocide for decades to come, for their entire lives, whether they lost a limb or whether they live with the lifelong trauma of being a Palestinian child facing a genocide. So I would like you all to hear from our next speaker from the Palestine Global Mental Health Network. Please give it up for Dr. Lenapehoking.
Thank you, Nadine. Hello, everybody. Salam وحب للجميع. For decades, Gaza has been at the forefront of our anti-colonial resistance. Gaza continues to expose the hypocrisy and bigotry of world leaders. Many of us Palestinians and Arabs know now more personally what dehumanization actually means. That the wounding of and loss of our children, the cries of our mothers and the leveling of cities doesn't mean anything to those in power. We know now that international law is toothless, that equal rights are nonsense, and that racialized colonization is the norm. The Zionist project aims to crush our souls. It aims to infect our minds and hearts to quell our resistance. They think that these psychological tactics will scare us, or that their propaganda and fake news are airtight. They think we will burn out. Well, they picked the wrong nation. Let me bring things to where we are at this moment. Perhaps we are not in Gaza. We are not displaced, 30, starving, and wondering if the next bomb will wipe our family. Still, every feeling, thought, or emotion you are having is true, justified, and real. Despair is real. Grief is real. Rage is real. Our sumud is about rising repeatedly and using our grief, pain to fuel a vision for a just present and a hopeful future. Palestine will be free. Gaza will be free. and we will all go back to Palestine and Gaza to clean the rubble, rebuild homes, and sing and love with our people. Please keep talking about Palestine, keep sharing, keep posting, keep hoping, and keep believing. Keep disrupting in whatever large or small way you can, as this is love, and love is a practice of freedom. Let me finish with a chant, and I hope you'll chant with me. The people united will never be defeated. 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 The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The nations united will be defeated because the United Nations is an obsolete, impotent, imperialist project that is only used to justify the murder, the incursions, the attacks of imperialist nations against colonized nations that have never been used to support the oppressed masses or to implement human rights anywhere. And so today we stand here from people of all nations who stand with the Palestinian struggle, from South African flags in the crowd to Yemeni flags to Egyptian flags. We know it is the people of these nations that stand in solidarity with the Palestinian struggle. And despite Egypt participating in the shameful siege and blockade of Gaza, despite the Egyptian government trying to drown out the masses of the Egyptian voices, demanding justice and freedom for all people of Gaza, the people of Egypt stand with us here today. So please give it up for our next speakers. From Egyptian diaspora resist!
Hi everyone. So since what? Okay. Yeah, we thought this opportunity would be perfect because the Egyptian consulate is right here, as well as the Egyptian mission to the United Nations. What does it mean that the only Arab country that borders Gaza, Egypt, instead of being a haven of solidarity and complying with its responsibility under international law, is actually an active agent in this genocide? For 101 days, 2.3 million Gazans have been facing and continue to face a relentless genocide, enduring atrocities beyond comprehension. The horrors they are facing, the extent of them, are still unknown. Today, as the Egyptian diaspora resists, we are here to reaffirm that we stand in solidarity with our people in Gaza, and we join the Gaza Group, which is a collective of Palestinians from Gaza in exile and in Gaza, to emphasize that Palestinians in Gaza are not solely dying as a result of Israel's airstrikes, but also as a result of Egypt's deliberate closure of the Rafah crossing. We wanted to be crystal clear that Palestinians in Gaza are not merely casualties of this genocide. They are victims of a calculated and merciless joint punishment for their resilience and resistance. The escalating civilian death toll is a stain on the collective conscience of those of us Egyptians who remain silent or complicit. Therefore, we refuse to divorce this mounting death toll from the deliberate choices made by Sisi's regime in Egypt. The closing of Rafah is exacerbating the horrors in Gaza. As it stands today, it is crucial for us as dignified Egyptians to sadly and shamefully shed light on the fact that over 10,000 Palestinians have tragically died of injuries only since October 7th because they were denied entry to Egypt for life-saving treatment. So as Israel decimates Gaza's health infrastructure, Sisi's government, complicit in finishing the job of the genocidal power, refuses to allow the evacuation into Egypt of those who are injured and in need of urgent medical treatment. We also want to highlight the plight of the 60,000 plus injured in Gaza who urgently require emergency medical treatment. But instead, President Sisi and his cohorts in Sinai are shamelessly profiting off of the suffering of Gazans, demanding a minimum of $10,000 per person. And that's only to cross. That does not guarantee that you actually get to live. And if you are wounded or injured or suffering from cancer, you're left to die. I just want to end with a translated post from the Gaza group. Opening the Rafah crossing is the only way to protect us against forced displacement and the only guarantee for our ability to stay here and remain steadfast. How can I remain steadfast without the bare minimum needed to sustain my life? How can I remain steadfast without water or a loaf of bread? How can I remain steadfast when the injured are martyred because of the lack of access to medical treatment, their injuries infested with maggots? Open the Rafah crossing and allow the entry of goods and fuel. Allow the passage of the thousands that are stranded and dying of their injuries. Allow Gazans to seek medical treatment. Allow the ones suffering from cancer and kidney failure to be treated. Open the Rafah crossing. If the Rafah crossing is Egyptian and the decision to open it is Egypt, then how it is that our government, the Egyptian government, has to wait for our enemies' approval to allow the entry of even a bite of food for the children of Gaza? How is it that you're afraid to welcome the injured into our country? Egypt must immediately seize its callous denial of entry, as the responsibility of Palestinian blood rests squarely on our government's shoulders. Sisi, Sisi, we see you! Sisi, Sisi, we see you! We know you support the Zionist state too! Sisi, Sisi, we see you! Sisi, Sisi, we see you! You support genocide too! You support genocide too! Sisi, Sisi, we see you! You support genocide too! You support genocide too! CCCC, we see you! CCCC, we see you! You support genocide too! You support genocide too! CCCC, we see you! CCCC, we see you! You support BB too! You support BB too! CCCC, we see you! CCCC, we see you! You support BB too! You support BB too! Before we start marching again, we need a clear path, so anybody who's in front of me right now, please move to the sides or behind the banners.